Hello. Hope your day is going well. I thought we could talk for just a couple of minutes today about one really critical subject. And this is something that we may come back to repeatedly, but it's something that we just can't overstate. And that's the importance of getting a pre-approval from a lender before you start your house hunting. Now, this is something that has become absolutely critical. In fact, many times, uh, sellers will require that a pre-approval letter be attached to the offer. If you don't have that pre-approval, they're not even going to consider your offer. So what is a pre-approval? What goes into a pre-approval? And how does it help you? Well, let's take a look at some of those things. First of all, what is a pre-approval? Well, this is the result of you meeting with the lender and discussing with them things like your income, what your expenses are, what your assets are, what your credit rating is, and perhaps what kind of employment you have and whether you can expect to maintain that employment. All of these are things that lender will then take, put into the mix, and determine how much money you can reasonably borrow for a mortgage. Now, this is not an easy thing to figure out. Most of us could take a look at our own expenses and perhaps our income and make a guess. But this is one of those really critical things because this is a decision that can stay with you for years to come. So it's worth it to take the time to talk to a professional. Find out from them what you can realistically afford in a home. Now, once you have that done, you're going to be ready to start looking at homes with a more focused eye. Well, what do we mean? Well, think about it this way. Let's say, just for to choose a number at random, you have been approved for a $500,000 loan, or pre-approved for a $500,000 loan. Now, you're out driving and you see a house for sale and it looks great. You go into it and it is just blowing you away. This is an amazing home. And then you find out that it's $650,000. Well, is there any harm done? Well, perhaps not. You've seen a beautiful home. But now you go out to look at homes that you can actually afford based on that pre-approval. And they lack some of the features of that magnificent home that you saw. Could you start to become a little bit dissatisfied with some of what you're seeing that's within your range? Well, it could happen. Now, does that mean you shouldn't go look at those other homes? No. But what we are saying is that it's always a good idea to stay focused on what really is doable, what's realistic for your circumstances. If you do that, then you're more likely to be satisfied, to be content with what you ultimately find. So that's important. Now, there's another thing to remember here. When you are prepared to send in an offer to the seller, and you attach that pre-approval letter, or your realtor does that for you. Now, when that seller gets that offer and looks at that pre-approval, and maybe it has the offer date on there saying that this person has been pre-approved for this amount, well, it gives them the confidence that this is a serious offer, that this isn't just somebody who's messing around, but rather that you really are serious about trying to get this home. It's a tough market out there for buyers, and it's good for you to be able to present yourself as being a serious and capable buyer. And of course, once you've been approved or pre-approved, you want to be careful that you don't do anything to complicate that. So for example, you were just approved for or pre-approved, I keep making that mistake, you were just pre-approved for a mortgage, and then you go out and you make a large purchase. Well, obviously that's going to affect how much you can really qualify for now. Because when your lender sits down to actually prepare the mortgage for you, the loan for you, you want to make sure that all the information that he or she had at the outset is still valid. So as far as possible, please keep everything nice and clean and stable from the time that you get that pre-approval. If you do this, then your realtor is going to be more comfortable working with you. And once you start out looking for that home, you can do it with the confidence that you can keep up your end of the deal. It's going to make it easier for you to reach that goal of finding the home that you need.